Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this latest narration in the web series, The Burning Ones. If you're new to the series, there is a playlist listed down below in the description. And as always, I hope that you enjoy. Chapter 4. In the first week of the Pag attacks, we lost a lot of our security forces. By a lot, I mean nearly all of them, and it has been really hard to replace them. Most of the beings on the Fractal's crew are highly specialized. By highly specialized, I mean, well, let me use a human turn of phrase I find quite fitting. They suck at tasks outside their primary skill set. With our security forces in need of replenishment, naturally 2 tiny, wispy, lightweight analysts were nominated. Those 2 were the only survivors of an attack in a crowded corridor. Myself and Anderson. That's when my secret got out. I hatched during the largest storm in the century, on a planet known as Seraph 1. Allison was born on a volatile planet called Terra, which, like Seraph, is unofficially classified as a death world by the intergalactic community. Once someone let slip the hypothesis that we survived because we were reared on death worlds, it was pretty much settled that we would be the ones to lead and rebuild the security forces. I won't tell you who outed me. There is no need. Qzaf knows what he did. Luckily for Anderson and me, there were 2 more death worlders, and they volunteered to join up. Taika and V.E. Now, V.E. joining was no surprise to anyone. Her mate died in the first attacks, and she had been looking for an excuse to stick her claws into something ever since. Taika, on the other hand, well, let's just say that he was an unexpected volunteer. Most death worlds produce the swift and cunning, the fiercest of predators. Most death worlds. Others, like Kokora, apparently produced rock-hard, rocks. We didn't think Taika was intelligent enough to know what a death world was, much less survive one himself. In fact, no one remembers letting him out of the loading bay so that he could come to the meeting. His fingers are too large to manipulate the door controls. This may or may not have been intentional on the part of the loadout team. He accidentally sat on one of their crew in the last meeting. He broke a chair, and the crewman. Anyway, Allison settled it. She said the only stupid thing that we could do was leave the walking, talking, fireproof Corian behind, instead of, walking behind him. I thought for sure that he was going to lose his marbles. My stars, humans are full of surprises. She made Taika smile. The pack bonding was nearly complete. A Kitsuan from Volpine 6, a human from Terra, a Seraphae from Seraph 1, and a giant rock from a giant rock. We had the survival chemicals and uncanny biological skills we needed. All that remained was a bad idea to get us started. Guess what today is? No way, Captain Garant said. It'll never work. I'll make it work, Allison jabbed at the astral charts between her and the captain. Look, you said we need to be proactive, and you're right. I checked. The distress calls we logged when we started 2 weeks ago, they never pinged a single comms buoy. Nothing. But this, Garant huffed and shook his baggy lips. This flight path is insane. This is why she's in charge, V.E. said. She was reclining lazily on top of a stack of cocker crates and slowly brushing her red, bristled tail back and forth against the ceiling. Where are we going? I asked, joining the captain, Allison, and Shadow at the map projector. Allison pulled at her red hair. I don't know. I had this feeling. I stole a glance at Shadow. I couldn't look long. No one else here could see him. But I swear that he was looking a right contented smug bastard right now, in his own, practically unchanging sort of way. I couldn't put my finger on it. Allison queued up some new astral nav data. So I sent a probe here, and I think I found the Pug ship. You want to attack the Pug ship now? I asked. We have weapons now. Compared to the human guns, the Pug guns suck. But we have weapons. Voltian rejigged a bunch of the battle armor we salvaged and fitted them to our exosuits. The Fractal is huge, I countered. They will absolutely see us coming and blow us to bits. That's why we won't be using this ship, Allison stated. We have no assault craft, nothing suited for spaceflight, nothing with shields. Exactly. Allison grinned and showed me a graphite drawing. They'll never see us coming. I switched my comms unit off and stood next to Allison and Shadow. I hated exosuits. Armored exosuits are also way up there on my list of favorite things. But Allison wouldn't be able to hear me through all that armor and tempered glass. So, what do you think of this idea, Shadow? I assumed that he could hear me. I didn't expect him to answer.
It'll work. I need to get on that vessel.
I don't know how I could hear his voice, but I could. Wait, I could barely hold out my outrage. This whole thing is your idea?
My idea? Her idea. Our idea, Shadow rattled off. Mostly the same. We aren't so separated as it may appear to you.
Why do you need to go? I thought that you protected the suicidal ape until...
I don't remember.
Shadow turned away from me and checked the buckles on the back of Addison's suit.
I am not what I once was.
The E rapped on my visor and signed to me. I turned my comms unit back on, and the chatter returned. Who are you talking to? The E said, her voice full of deep, purring alto tones. I couldn't hear anything that she was saying. Sorry, old habit, I said, spouting a quick lie to cover for my strange behavior. I always talk to myself before a mission. What do you mean, always? The E asked, her tail swishing pensively in the zero-G atmosphere of the loading bay. Oh, I did 2 rotations back on Seraph, I explained, just like everyone else. All right, are we all good to go? Addison chirped in. Yes, I wrapped my arms around the anchor straps and lifted myself into position. But what is it? Addison asked as she hauled her lean body up beside me. This'll be fun, B said as she nimbly leapt into position. That's one word for it, I groaned. My stomach lurched, and the hollowed bones of my skull, once necessary, now a remnant of my species past, sung out as a jet skid activated and launched us towards the open bay doors. The expanse of space opened up in front of us. We were flying, full ballistic, on the back of a Kakoran. I stole a glance over my shoulder and saw Shadow flying effortlessly behind us, wings outstretched, wider than I'd ever seen them. Comms going cold for crypto boot sequence, Addison said. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Dead silence. No breathing, no engine sounds, no pattering feet and tentacles, no artificial light and electromagnetic humming. I could do this forever. I was flying, soaring like I was always meant to before my ancestors lost their wings. The clouds of literal stardust wafted in around us, sparkling like a million gems. The sector was empty, beyond empty really. Uncharted, it was intended to be a new route, and we were the first. The start and end points had been marked and plotted for us from both sides, but it was our job to see what was in the middle. And it was beautiful. Break, 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 Addison shouted through the comms. My turn. My muscles snapped to life. I'd done this 100 times in training. I guess I shouldn't have mentioned the skill if I didn't want my human to use it for some feather-brained plan. Addison on my right hand, V on my left, my legs coiled and snapped, vaulting us free from the immense mass that was Taika. The change of force redirected the Kakoran's body into a head-over-heels rotation. V was heading right where he was supposed to. My ventral thrusters fired, and I held tight to my charges as I calculated our arc and the number of skew flips required. One graceful loop, maintaining as much momentum as possible, out through our bodies into a gentle follow trajectory, 50 meters behind Taika. Shadow fell into position under us, aligning his torso with hers so as to better shield her from harm. Then he did something strange, something wonderful. Shadow spread his wings out and out until they enveloped the 3 of us entirely. As we plummeted towards what any sane person would assume to be our deaths, I watched in awestruck wonder as the stardust collided with the Shadow's wings and ignited into a rainbow of colors around us. The burning stardust sang a song for us. The resonance radiated from Shadow's wings into my bones. Euphoria. The maddest minds do burn the brightest. These were the echoes of eternity. End of chapter. I'd quickly like to thank the T5 peeps: Cold War Boomerwaffen, Sevaren Serberous, Bushmaster 177, Henry the Red, Casper Arnholtz, Cold War Boomerwaffen, Elijah Silvercross, Dragzoon W.R.E, and Sevaren Serberous. Thank you very much.